Hello there, welcome back to the channel where we talk about all things VTuber, and today we'll be talking about Kuro K9's attempt to call out all the Dramatubers in the VTuber community, especially those who've been covering negative topics regarding Nijisanji. So what happened is Kuro made a tweet, another VTuber, Rima Evenstar, would then quote retweet Mysta's tweet and made comments while misunderstanding the original intentions of Kuro, and then after Kuro called her out, Rima Evenstar would apologize before taking down the tweet. Honestly, it's a nothing burger in the long term, but now that you know the short TLDR, let's begin. I'm sure many of you are aware that Nijisanji recently held their AR Live event, which has ended. The AR Live event had a mixed reception. Some people loved the event, some people hated the event. And the people who hated the event hated it for the scuffed performances, subpar models, bad lighting, among other issues. A lot of people were calling out Nijisanji's improper handling of the AR Live, and among them was Rima Evenstar. Rima would post comparisons between before Mirai's 3D event alongside Nijisanji's AR Live event to the right hand side, where she shows Petra with a long neck that is not characteristic of her model at all. Rima wasn't the only one who was criticizing Nijisanji and putting out Twitter posts criticizing the event. Other Dramatubers would also put out their own takes and opinions regarding the event, many of which were negative. And this is where Kuro K9 comes in. This Vshojo Vtuber would also give his take on the event, saying, "I think I was sleepwalking or something because apparently people heard my voice at the concert." For those who are unaware, K9 Kuro used to be Mr. Rias, who was one of the VTubers at Nijisanji. So Kuro was expressing his surprise that people actually heard his voice at the Nijisanji AR Live concert. Kuro didn't mean anything by this tweet. He was just giving his opinions that was neither positive nor negative. When Rima Evenstar saw the tweet, he would quote retweet it, saying, "Nah, they did not completely remove Mysta's voice from the concert?" Skull emoji. And you can see she retweeted Kuro's tweet right here. Kuro wasn't happy with the situation since the comments under Rima Evenstar's tweet started to get a little toxic for him. Under Rima Evenstar's tweet, with some people commenting on the situation saying they already had them recorded and okayed. People would be mad if they removed them, referring to Mysta's voice in the Nijisanji AR Live recording. Holly Jolly would go on to say, "I loved it. In regards to technical mishaps, what mishaps? Besides Bilibili and complicated copyright, that's probably getting worked on and probably not even Nijisanji's fault. The stream ran in 1080p, no problem." Holly Jolly would go on to say, "Kuro is not suggesting that was a mistake, lol. He's just being a tease like always when it comes to his past." A user by the name of Shark Stark disagreed with Holly Jolly, saying, "What kind of weed did they put in your copium tank, bro?" Kuro was not happy with the situation, so he came out to respond to the allegations himself, saying, "Coming from Mr. Kuro himself, how is this copium, sir? I don't know what point this original poster," referring to Rima Evenstar, "is trying to make, but it is so cringe to see me and others taken out of context to spin their own narrative to hate or other entities or people." Rima Evenstar would then apologize to Kuro in the comments. Rima would say, "OMG. Then I completely misunderstood what you meant by this. My bad, I'll take down the post." As you can see, Rima deleted her post. This post was deleted by the post author, but the comments below Rima's post were still visible. While Kuro did not respond to Rima Evenstar's apology personally, other users would decide not to forgive Rima Evenstar. TTPD would say, "I don't know, you seem to be misunderstanding every little thing Ian does." Tapi would say, "Nah, you just like to spread misinformation from day one. Why acting all innocent now?" Veritek would say, "I don't think you should have assumed and dumped on it in the first place, but that's just me." Infinity Chaos X would say, "You didn't misunderstand, you like many others literally trash on Niji every chance you get. Yes, you figured he wouldn't take notice. I'm not a defender, but it's kind of obvious." Now Rima Evenstar may have messed up on Twitter, but overall, she did apologize, and she's not the type of person to try to slander people. Rima tends to do a lot of research whenever she wants to make her videos. She just jumped the gun this time because it was just a Twitter post. Personally, I think Rima Evenstar will be fine after this. He hasn't done anything too serious. It was just a minor miscommunication overall. Nothing too bad about it, I guess. I'm pretty sure Rima will be able to move on very quickly. Kuro, on the other hand, had other ideas. He would go on to his second Twitter account, Blue Baku, to start criticizing Dramatubers. Kuro would say, "Bro, I'm in such a bad mood, and like drama farmers are actual cancer. Kuro would then say, like, is the VTuber community completely cooked in the brain or what? Kuro would then go on to vent his frustrations about Dramatubers. I think the most frustrating thing for me is how much shit I've gotten in over the years, but when I looked at these literal randoms who advocate for someone they believe is right, they are 9,000 times more dedicated, toxic, and arrogant to ever change their opinions. It just makes me think, what's the point of even trying to apologize or try to be a better person? People realize the only way they get traction is to drama farm and bandwagon whatever opinion is popular at the time and switch whenever the general consensus has changed. Like, look at yourself, look at your Twitter profile. Honestly, so embarrassing. There's a difference between having an opinion and pushing your delusions to become real by manipulating anything you can fit into your own narrative and neglect other things that you would support from other parties. Ain't no way, bruh. Kuro would receive some support in his comments. Ace would say, it's frustrating for us, we can't even imagine what you have gone through. I just hope this somehow ends and we can just support who we all want to in peace. But the VTuber community is, yeah, best we can do is try and be the change we want to see, hopefully. Kuro would reply saying, I honestly hate associating with it. That's generally why I try to stay in my own lane, unless it's related to my friends. Fucking cringe community, bro. More users agreed with Kuro with wisdom saying, focus on your friends and doing your own thing. No need to waste energy on stuff that drags you down. Elio would say, you honestly couldn't have said it better. Twitter is filled with toxicity, and you're right about the farming stuff. It's so embarrassing at this point. I really want to see them do better, but I can't expect much from this community. Before we take a look at some of the other opinions regarding Kuro's dismissal of Dramatubers, let us take a look at Kurosanji's opinions of this situation. In response to Kuro's alt, the users of Kurosanji would say, I think he shouldn't have tweeted the previous one if he doesn't want this outcome to happen. Kuro tends to post without thinking, and he should have known that everything they do are monitored and everything they tweet is going to be interpreted as both sides. The irony is big to this one as both sides are praising his statement. By the way, I'm not saying he is wholly wrong. He is right that ex-Niji gets dragged every time something happens. His only wrong move here is not thinking of the consequences or just letting it be as a vague joke. Instead, he replied. Ultra would say, what does he mean by this? Vague posting is not going to help. Again, do not attack anyone, criticize the company, but do not target anyone. Another user would say, sounds like he wants to be left out of other people's drama, which is respectable, and people should listen to his wishes. That being said, his phrasing is going to start an inferno and will do absolutely nothing to quell this mess. The problem with vocally doing ambiguous both side stuff to cool down drama is that it can encourage everyone to think that they're in the right and cause them to double down instead. I would be very surprised if this wasn't the result. On another side, in the Kurosanji subreddit, there are people saying, to be honest, I get what Kuro is trying to say since he did ask not to have his words spun around to hate on Niji, but Rima has a point because we all know why they didn't remove his voice. Never mind how everything else turned out, because of how they had to hard scrub Doki's voice from the performance. They really should have added this a year ago when they would have gotten away with the scuff. Oh, and before things hit the fan with Selen. Another user called Lord Top Hat Man would say, on top of scrubbing Selen from the concert, they featured ex-livers and had copyright perm issues. The irony of it is pretty obvious. Kuro should have stayed out of it. Euphoric Database would say, I get that he may be upset about being drama farmed every time he makes a reference about Niji, but did he smoke this morning? Rima stated a fact, not even commenting about it, even got shit on by his fans in the comments. Another user would say, so long story short, Kuro is tired of people using him as justification to spread hate without having any context or information whatsoever. A very fair statement. He's not even defending Niji per se, just tired of people going too hard at inventing narratives. Burrow Music would say, I'd say Kuro is half right here. He is valid in saying it's cringe for people to use his words to try and duck on Niji, but at the same time, it's also his fault for getting into the situation in the first place. If he didn't want to get into this situation, he should have made his meaning absolutely clear instead of being ambiguous or just not tweet about it at all. Another patron of r/Kurosanji would say, I get his stance. He's just joking around. He doesn't want said joke to be some fuel to add to a fire. He's not even trying to defend Nijisanji. He just says how he dislikes people taking his words to hate on something when he is at worst indifferent to the whole thing. I think it's best to leave all the past livers out of this mess, especially if they are making a name for themselves, such as Doki, Mint, Kuro, Matara, etc. Bringing them here does nothing but give them bad engagement. That's enough of the opinions from Kurosanji. Now let's take a look at the other content creators in the VTuber community and what their opinions are. We have Taledo, the VTuber that does ADHD content about the VTuber community, giving his take on the Kuro hating on Dramatubers situation. Taledo would say people taking drama as gospel are probably not ready for the potential reality that current and previous Niji VTubers/entities may be a lot more cool with each other than the masses think. Taledo would go on to say, obviously that doesn't apply to everyone. Terminated VTubers differ vastly in gravity from graduated ones, but just because not everything is publicly explained doesn't always mean the worst in relations. They are not obligated to reveal everything either. It's their business. Next, Mr. Underhill would also give his take about the situation with Kuro. Many will know Mr. Underhill as a VTuber that does news content on the more positive side of things. Mr. Underhill has been trying to distance himself from his old tea-sipping commentary owl ways, saying he doesn't say those words anymore. That same Mr. Underhill would respond to the Kuro situation saying, and this is why I took my break, and when I come back to talking about current stuff going on in the space, I want to be as far from the Dramatuber label as I can possibly be. I love to talk about recent stuff, but as said below, it's all become really icky now. Sarah would respond to Mr. Underhill saying, I never saw you as a Dramatuber, honestly. You always share and spread kindness and positivity, which I really admire and respect. Thank you so much for always being kind, sir. To which Mr. Underhill would respond and say, I'm very happy to hear that. When I do come back to it, I hope to make myself distinct. We now have Parrot 4chan giving his opinions on Kuro's take on Dramatubers. Parrot would say, this is how I imagine VTubers who complain about drama being cancer but actively seek it out and tweet about it time and time again, writing full essays. Every one of us who has made it has haters and drama. If you can't handle people talking about it, just uninstall Twitter, little bro. The clipper Azehara CH will also give his take, saying someone said things I don't like on the internet. Now we have Khyo, the first person you think of when you think about drama and VTubing, giving his take on the Kuro situation. Khyo would say, I keep having people comment on the newest video that Niji was just too lazy to remove Mysta and others from the AR live completely, but I don't personally think that's the case. I'm sure they knew they'd be in it. I highly doubt they'd keep graduated talent voices in an event without consent, considering the whole Selen situation. Moving on from the Kuro situation, we have a Nijisanji VTuber announcing his hiatus. This is Aster Arcadia, and Aster has expressed his desire to take some time off from streaming. Aster would say, I have been going through an extremely depressive state, so please give me some time to recover. Sorry for being silent. One of Aster's co-workers at Nijisanji, Folger, would console Aster, saying, take all the time you need, Aster. Depression is a bitch, and it's one you can't fight your way out of, so do whatever you need for your mental health, and be sure to ask for help anytime you need it. We all need help from time to time, and it takes strength to ask for it. Aster would thank his senpai, saying, thank you, Fuchan, I'll try my best. Speaking of Folger Ovid, the Nijisanji VTuber would go on to one of his past life accounts to talk about his health situation. Folger previously talked about how he was unable to physically perform in the Nijisanji AR live because of health problems on his official Folger Ovid account, and now Folger has returned to his PL account to clarify his situation regarding his health. Folger would say, this old hound is going back to his rest after this. Please be kind to one another and understanding wherever you can. Often ignorance comes from a lack of understanding, which people can learn from, and it's important to promote the latter rather than shame the former. I've talked about my problems in the past here, but I'll do it one final time. My disability stems from a combination of arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, and neuropathy, which has affected my peripheral, vagus, and cordia equina nerves especially. Chronic pain is constant. I also occasionally get spasms that can affect me so bad that I need bed rest for up to 2 weeks. And when my vagus nerves gets tricky, it becomes hard for me to breathe or move. Thankfully, I've only had those vagus responses twice so far in my life. To manage all these things, I get injections directly in my spine every 3 to 9 months when the pain builds up, as well as taking daily medication, but there is no cure, and I've accepted that. Folger would talk about how he had a sitting disability and how he could only sit down for only 10 to 15 minutes at a time on the best of days, and on the worst of days, he can't even sit down properly, which is a problem for a streamer. He usually uses a standing desk for his live stream, and he can't travel long distances because the world in general is built with sitting in mind and won't accommodate standing and laying down. down. Olga would finish out by saying, I'm not posting this for sympathy and this will be my last time I mention it. I felt I had to post this because of the sheer amount of misinformation being spread around and the fact that it's leading into doxing territory. I am one of the very lucky people that has a job that I am accommodated by and supported in, which pays enough for me to be comfortable and not worry about medical fees for treatments, pain management, and preventive options like rehab. Many disabilities are invisible, and on a normal day, you wouldn't notice how much pain I was in or what I go through just to live, other than maybe finding it odd that I stand in the bus even when there are tons of empty seats. Please be considerate of the fact that you never know what other people are dealing with, physically or mentally. Spread love, not hate, and look after one another. Moving on, let's take a look at what some of the Nijisanji VTubers had to say about their performance in the AR Live.
Mom?
Mom? Sorry.
The show the
Bear,
ass.
what are you doing? What are you doing, Bear? I'm watching porn!
I'm happy that we could keep Nina's voice and Pomu's voice in it too. We personally asked staff. Did I know how we didn't use any of the originals recordings for anything? We had to sing. Obviously, it's a live version. So all of us had to sing every single song again. So there was an option to just sing the whole Etheria song. The whole Gatsi show, 3 of us, but we're like, no. And then Staffson was like, alright, let us check with the team. So, we used a couple of other recordings that Nina left. So we were really, really glad. Like, Mom, I'm in TV, are you watching, Mom? I'm pretty sure she did, because we gave her a friend code. Staffson gave us friends codes for a couple of our friends to watch AR Live. Mommy got 1 friend code. I know who got Enna's. Oh yeah. Millie gave her friend code to Mommy. And then 5 minutes after I was like, Mommy, do you want my friend code? And Mommy was like, oh, Millie already gave it to me, darling. And I was like, okay, Mommy, I don't have any other friends. I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this friend code? So I just gave it to Aster.
I was like, oh my god, everyone is so sexy except Millie. I tried my best, okay? I hate you all. You were all right. Petra was actually the one who suggested Ifududu, okay? Me, she's like the only one who's trying to like push for a lot of songs. She's the one who's constantly giving suggestions, so thank you, Petra.
We now talk about Coefficient. This reaction YouTuber reacts mainly to VTuber content. Coefficient would talk to Takahashi Kiara from Hall Life saying, I will be cosplaying you very soon as per your request. Would you like me to complete any personal requests while the cosplay is on? With warm regards. Kiara would respond to Coefficient saying, I am so sorry, but you asked so nicely. Please dance this, providing a link to a YouTube shot. Before saying, sorry, you don't have to, but you asked. The YouTube shot in question included her dance from one of her more recent music videos, Chimera. Up next, we have some bad news from Camila. This Twitch VTuber is unfortunately now banned from Twitch. Camila would repost her ban before saying what happened. Camila would post a video onto Twitter showing herself off in her new bunny costume crying while she begs Twitch to unban her. Camila would say, hey, I'm pretty lonely. Unban Imp, please. Tectone would respond to Camila's Twitch ban saying, ah ha ha ha, you fucking dumbass. Enjoy the vacation and boost in views when you're back. Camila responded with question marks. We now talk about an indie VTuber who's now showing off her body in real life. So what do you think? Do you like her selfie? We end this video with one final video topic from the Avalum boys. The boys from First Stage Production EN came together on a live stream recently to give advice on how to pass the audition to become one of the next generation of VTubers for First Stage Production EN. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. This is Terry Nebula signing off.